Hello, welcome to Jennifer's Magical Book Club. Today I am here to read a novel which is called Paperboy. I'm going to continue from page 86, the second part. My mother said I could have whatever I wanted when I came down for breakfast the next morning, but I told her that cereal was fine. She asked me if my stomach was feeling better. It's okay. Okay. Sorry for last night. Don't worry, everybody gets a bug now and then. Stirring is not a bug, and I didn't just come down with something. I screamed the words inside my head, but that was where they stayed. I crunched my cereal as hard as I could, so the sound would take the place of the talking in my head. My mother sipped her coffee and turned the pages of the morning newspaper. They've announced a lineup for the Mid-South Fair. It will be here before you know it. I guess you'll want to go this year again with Earth. I nodded. I don't know if I approve of the Aurora Fair. I mean aroma. Oh, I don't know what I mean. I nodded. She probably meant the era of the fair, and I didn't have any problem with it. I like to throw bowls at the lead milk bottles because I could usually knock them over and get a prize. Rat and I would walk up and down the midway and try to figure out what was in all the sideshows. We stood in line last year to get into the hypnotist's tent. Sorry. We were going to tell the great something or other to put me under a spell so I could talk right, and then Red wouldn't let anybody clap their hands to snap me out of it. But we chickened out of when it came time to go in because Red said the guy might have make a mistake and turn me into a barking dog. After breakfast, my mother said she had to go to one of her meetings at the country club and that I should stay in my room and read since Ma'am was still gone. Where's Ma'am? She called this morning to say that she needed a little more time off. She deserves it, don't you think? I nodded. From the kitchen, I watched my mother get in her car and back down the driveway. She stopped at the street and reached into her handbag for a cigarette. She pushed in the lighter on the dashboard and rolled her window down. She put the lighter to her cigarette and blew the smoke out the window. My mother had told me at the beginning of the summer that she had stopped smoking and made me a promise that I never would start. I knew she hadn't quit because I could smell it on her clothes, but I didn't care if she smoked or not. My father smoked and he never made any bones about it. I headed upstairs. When I passed my parents' bedroom, I noticed that one of the doors to the big closet was open a few inches. Most closets in the house were small, but my father had paid some men to knock a hole in the wall and turned the smaller bedroom next door into their closet. It was so big that it had two doors going into it. I was not allowed inside because that was where my father kept his shotguns for hunting. I felt creepy going in, but I did anyway. I pushed the light switch on and closed the door. I remembered once seeing my mother get out a big round hat box she kept in the closet. It had a bunch of papers and pictures in it, and I could tell by the way she handled them that they were special to her. I had been meaning to take a look inside the box ever since, and I decided that the right time had come. The first thing that hit me was the smell of mothballs. My mother put mothballs everywhere, in all the closets, in all the chests of drawers, in the attic. A moth would be committing suicide if it came near our house. My father's suit were all lined up on one side and my mother's dresses on the other. My father's guns were standing up in the corner in a long rack that had a lock on it. I saw the big hat box on a high shelf. I piled some suitcases on top of one another and climbed up to get the box. The first batch of papers I came to was all my report cards from the first grade on. Tied up with the report cards was a letter to my parents from the school principal with private written on the envelope in red ink. I knew what was in the letter. It had to do with the time after the first grade that the principal said I was reading and writing like a third grader or even a fourth grader, which meant the school would let me skip a grade, but he didn't think I should because of the way I talked. My mother went to see the principal and told him with me sitting there that he had better not hold her son back because letting me skip a grade would show her friends that I was just as smart as their kids, even though I couldn't talk right. Before I knew I had been moved up to the third grade. Next in the hat box was a thick book with the heavy black pages full of photographs. My father was in a bunch of pictures. He was easy to pick out because he was tall and thin and had blonde hair. I went through the rest of the papers and folders as fast as I could. Just a bunch of diplomas and newspaper clippings and other stuff with my father's name on them. At the very bottom of the box, I came out of a brown envelope with any writing on the outside. Inside was a small piece of paper that said birth certificate of, and the name written in longhand was Baby Boy. The date on it was my birthday. My mother's name before she got married was written in at the bottom of the paper on the left besides mother. On the right side next to father was a word I wasn't expecting, unknown. I put everything away in the box like I found it and went to my room to lie down on my bed and start some serious thinking. When I heard my mother's car in the driveway and the car door close, I slipped out of my hard thinking and ran to the big closet to make sure I had turned off the light and shut the doors. Both closet doors stood open and the light was on, which let me know I had been in there for sure and I wasn't just dreaming about what I had seen. I turned off the light and fixed the doors like I had found them and ran to the bathroom to run water in the tub. I didn't usually take a bath that early in the day, but I decided I smelled too much like mothballs. So this is the end of chapter 7, and I'm going to continue from chapter 8 next time in Paperboy. Thank you, and see you next time. Have a nice day. Bye.